Example that
that
real
real
self
self
is
is
like
like
a
a
spider
spider
which
which
builds
builds
a
a
web.
web.
So we
So we
build
build
our
our
web
web
by
by thinking.
thinking pattern.
There are four stages of that manifestation of the world. So, first is definitely the real self has nothing to do, it remains self evident, self existent, independent. Then there comes the innermost self. So, that innermost self, why I take the human birth? Because of the past impressions. And the past impressions are a part of the ignorance. So now the ignorance has taken over me. But that ignorance has nothing to do with the self. The web has nothing to do with the spider. Spider is independent of the web. It will remain independent. It will remain independent. Same way the self is independent because of the prarabdha. We have taken the human birth, and the human birth since birth lives in ignorance. But why? Because I have a human body. So I got the human body because of the ignorance. Am I ready to remove the ignorance? No. So I will accumulate all the karma and its impression in this birth and will take the next birth again. So that cycle continues. Now here comes the simple principle. I know what is happening in Ukraine and Russia war. At the same time, I do not know what will happen. But the self knows both, and the self remains detached. What it means? Again, it is such a simple principle, and that causes the mind to accumulate the impressions, and the mind is always involved and caught in this cycle. I know, I do not know. So when I say I do not know, who knows this that I do not know? It is the self. It is the mind that is saying that I do not know. But the self knows that I do not. Mind is saying I do not know. Russia-Ukraine war is happening. Yes, is going on. Yes. What will happen? I do not know. So whether the object or an event is known to the mind, self is aware. Whether the object or a person is unknown, the self is also aware. It is the mind lives in ignorance. Self does not live in ignorance. So now what happens? We are caught in the known and the unknown all the time. Katya, what are you doing? Because I do not know. That's why I'm asking. What the hell you are doing? Why don't you change? So the knower number two moves in a vicious circle of known and the unknown, causing the fear, frustration, anxiety, duality, and a conflict. So when you told me that she doesn't want to go to the hospital, that is so, what should I do? I should take pills. So what we say, I take pills in ignorance according to Eastern wisdom. I am taking pills, that is the right approach according to the modern science. So let me hold on. So if I become Katya and I hold on, okay, why I'm taking pills? So it is all about the mind and change in mood and the behavior. Oh, it's a knower number two. Let me recognize it and change it. Mind can be changed. I have a choice. Who has a choice? The intellect has a choice. So the moment the intellect comes in, then I make a choice. Choice means two or more than two. So I choose what is right and good, what is absolutely right. Can I live into that state of the calm and peace? It is such a simple way to manage these mental illnesses. Okay, what is absolutely right? That is peace. What is right according to the society? Simple. Let me follow it. But mind says no. No, I have already chosen what is right according to the society. So at the social level, my behavior and attitude becomes normal. Problem is gone. Problem is gone now. Now, can we say that the knower number three has interfered? You cannot say knower number three has nothing to interfere. But now I become a witness consciousness because of Viveka. And the problem is gone. Will it happen in a day? No. We have to return again and again. This mind carries trillions of impressions. Trillions of impressions. It will return again. So every time it returns, I apply Viveka. Viveka means now I discernment, means I have separated myself. You rightly said. That is why those thoughts came to my mind. So the moment I separate myself, that means the mind is moving with it. That means the mind is now stopped working as knower number two. Because now I realize the knower number two is not only the knower but also the known. It is also an object. It is not me. So the moment I recognize and realize we are there, knower number three. Let us see, let us start the practice and let practice dissolve into the knowledge and see what happens. Eyes are closed. Position of the body. Position of the body. Adjust and align any position which is comfortable to you, and preferably our master says even our contemplation means the manan and nididhyasan. Contemplation and nididhyasan. Nididhyasan is known as the meditation practice in path of knowledge, Gyan Yoga. So it is always preferable to sit while doing manan and nididhyasan, which is both together. One is seeking, another is searching, is what is known as the mindfulness or meditation. So we will follow what the mind knows it, and then from there we move to the knower number. We move, oh, it means we have to work? No. We just become aware of the knower number three by separating the knower number one, knower number two, and then to the moment we separate knower number one, sense organs are the knower number one with reference to the objects and people in the world. Mind knows the sense organs and the objects both, so it is the knower number two. And the self knows the mind, sense organs, and the objects. Oh, so it is the knower number three. So we start in a very simple, very easy, and as if we are casually, but with awareness, we are working. So you look at the neck joint. What happened? No, I look at the neck joint, so I'm looking the neck joint through the mind. So it's a knower number two, yes. But where I got the information from the knower number one, it is an object. So then you see that we feel the sensation, comfort, and steadiness. So that experience is taking place in the mind. So object is the mind and the knower is the mind. My goodness, this is a mixture. So when I say I experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness, so that I is the knower number two. Yes, behind is the knower number three. So I see, okay, let me separate myself from this experience which is taking place in the mind. It is there. We are there. So the mind returns to its old habit, memories, thought, and that is what we say the impurity, distractions, and projections are. So now you see that that is what the practice is. And but if the knowledge takes over, so we feel as if we are not doing the practice. It is a contemplation, reflection, and meditation. So, so you see, look at the shoulder joints. Shoulder joints is an object. Object is known by the mind. Knower number two. We experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. But we ask the mind to go behind that experience. So the moment we separate ourselves from this experience, so that is normally understood. Look into the space. So when you're looking, you are aware of the space, means you are behind that experience of sensation, comfort, and steadiness. As if you are able to see that experience far from you. So you are aware of the knower number 1, 2, and 3. Just keep that knowledge in the mind. Hip joint, because the mind is aware of the hip joint, you are not looking through your eyes, but feeling of touch is there, so sort of mixture is there. And then we experience sensation, comfort, and steadiness. And then we have a space. So you see that when masters use the phrase step back, this is what the step back. So in stepping back, we are not actually doing anything. It's not a practice. But then otherwise the people say it is a practice. It's okay. They are evolving. So that's why all our masters says that meditation, mindfulness is not a practice. But then what it is? It is knowledge. And what is that knowledge? Knowledge is awareness. What is this awareness? This is what the real self is. When you are aware with reference to the world, it is awareness. When that reference is lost, it is real self. It is pure consciousness. Check if the mind is asking us to, or waiting for the next instruction, or just enjoying. Oh, that also. Check if mind is enjoying or running or waiting. So that gives us some idea that the impurity of the mind is wandering between the known and the unknown, between the objects and the people and the events. So that need not to be attached. So one master says that that's where I use this term in the first step, being comfortable. You are perfectly settled in the comfort, and you remain settled in the comfort all the time. The knower number 3 is known, realized. So what causes the discomfort? The knower number 2 and 1. Why? Involved, attachment, duality. This step, now I can say that we are settled in the comfort is enough. But because the mind and its impressions, so we say, okay, let us be carefree also. Pay attention. Carefree. I have repeated many a times. Carefree, free from all the cares. Who cares? Me. Knower number 2, the mind. So what it means, I would be free from the mind. But what it means, we are contemplating. Free from the mind means I should feel the thoughts, feeling, images, memory, past impressions, relations are not me. So we make it very simple. We say thoughts, you should separate yourself from the thoughts. You should not separate, but you should recognize there is always a separation. So when we recognize that, it means door number 3 is already there. Only that can recognize. So now go back in a very simple way. Thoughts are coming. You know it. Good. No thought is there. You know it. Good. It's a fundamentally demands our awareness and the knowledge. It's not a practice. Thought, feeling, images, they come, or I can say they appear in the mind and they disappear. Like the birds flying in the sky from one side to the other. So, with reference to the thoughts come in the mind and leave it, it is like the birds flying in the sky. But the sky remains. So, sometimes the mind feels that there are a lot of thoughts and confusion is there. So, that's a traffic jam. See the way of understanding. Traffic jam, but I'm still standing across the road. In case of the birds flying in the sky, our attention remains on the birds. We lose awareness of the sky or the space. But when the birds disappear, mind says there is nothing. No, there is a space. So our masters have recognized the mind is too much involved, attached, carried away by the world outside. That's why it says there is nothing. So our mind can behave differently, and we should. That's why you should remember the birds flying in the sky. Oh, now no birds is there. No, but the space is there. And in case of a traffic jam, it demands a little more awareness. Traffic. So what happens? The mind imagines the objects and the people. It becomes the traffic. Note number 1. Feeling of the traffic in the traffic jam cannot be felt by the node number 1. So it is the node number 2. And who is standing across? Node number 3. So, with reference to any thought, it's a contemplation and reflection. You are thinking, no issue that you are thinking, you cannot be into mindfulness. Any thought comes, node number one becomes aware of the object in that thought. That is why you become aware of the thought. Otherwise, there is no way. So, in that thought, there is an object and there is a node number one. Very good. You're not doing anything. So, it gives rise to a feeling of sense of attachment or detachment or activity. Node number two. Okay, it's happening. I can see. So then you become aware of the thoughts coming and going. What happens? The knower number three. Where there is knower number one and two, it cannot exist without the knower number three. This is one way of saying. So, one way of saying means what? I am living in the world of the duality with the knower number one and two. So, behind that, there is always a knower number three, and we miss it. So, this principle is known as the mithya, the false cannot exist without the real self. Yes, the false self cannot exist without the real self. The waves cannot exist without water. Blueness of the sky cannot exist without the sky. The water, mirage water cannot exist without a desert. Oh, you mean to say that this body, mind, thoughts, feeling, they all exist because the real self is here and now? Yes. The moment we are in the world, the real self is behind it, it is always present. The false superimposed on the real self. But the false self lives with attachment, delusion, confusion. Oh, yeah, that is why we have all those thoughts are coming and going. That's why we feel the sensation in the body, and sometimes the thought goes away and it has its memories and imaginations. So, what is all this? It is opposite of viveka. No, no, be clear. When I forget myself, opposite of viveka. I'm attached, I'm identified, But who says this? Knower number 2. Knower number 2. So question comes, what should we do? No, we do nothing. We do nothing. Recognize knower number 2 is not the real knower. Because it gathers experiences and it claims it is the knower. Oh, it gathers all the experiences and claims it is the knower. So knower number 2 and the known are coming from the same source. So that means the separation. Separation means discernment and viveka and vairagya. Okay? No, but what should I do when thoughts enters the mind? So knower number 3 comes here. It is aware of the thought, 1, of experiences, and the knower number 2, the mind. Mind again asks question, whatever is happening, you are aware. Simple. You are aware of happening. You are not doing anything. Happening will continue. Why happening will continue? Because of the subtle body. Subtle and the physical body. Sukshma and sthul sharira. We cannot stop it. That is the way the world is. In the beginning, we can say that very motionless state of the body first is motionless state of the body, separation of the thoughts and feelings will help us to go deeper. Again, go deeper. We have not to do anything. But knower number 3 is the witness consciousness. So people have lot of wrong notions. So what will happen after that? So in normal activities, you are talking and you are aware it's a movement. You are talking. So talking is the knower number 1 and 2. So you simply recognize. You recognize. How you recognize again, I'm saying? Viveka and Vairagya. How do you recognize? Where there is a false, behind there is always a real self. You simply know it and then move the body. Well, no problem. But in the beginning, definitely, for a couple of weeks and sometime months, we maintain and gradually we start living as knower number 3, the witness consciousness, even in the presence of knower number 1 and 2. Now contemplate on the word we say confusion. So even if we explain the word confusion, con plus fusion means two or more thoughts are fused together. Separate them. Body and the eye, sense organ and the eye are fused. That's why there is a confusion. Now, I saw it. No, my eyes saw it. I feel it. No. No, number 2 gathers the feeling. See that? All the time. We simply recognize my body. No. So we remove the confusion. Confusion? It just came to my mind that fusion, fused. We cannot make the knower number 3 a witness consciousness as an experience of the mind. Now see another way to to awaken to that knowledge. So we examine what happens due to this confusion. Only two movement of the mind. And when we recognize these two movement of the mind, we discover number three. What are these two movements? Means their mind may have millions of the thoughts, okay, but they have only two movements. What are those two movements? Mind is running away from something. Either the mind runs after something, it may be an object, it may be a person, it may be an event, or the mind is running closer to that object. And that causes the multiple thoughts. Just you are aware, mind is either running near or second away from a thought, a feeling, a person, an event. That is the whole story. So I'm aware of both. Mind, you are running. Thank you. Keep running. So the moment I'm aware, I separate it. Oh, the mind is running near to someone. Yes, very good. Keep running. So that is why it's a witness. We are not doing any practice. No practice at all. So what I said, mind is either running near or away. We get involved into it. We get attached to it. I love you, I hate you. You see, running away, running near. I like you, I dislike you. If I do this, I'll be happy. So, better to avoid the current situation. So, perhaps in my understanding, when Buddha said, aware of the breath, So one breath going in means coming near, and the other breath going out, going out, going far. As such, there is no going, there is no breathing in and breathing out. So we are breathing in me. In me, no. It is in the body. So node number one, you know. Going out from where? Node number one. So we get detached. We get attached. Confusion arises. So with applying the knowledge, knower number two feels breath is going in, not in me, in knower number one. Going out from the knower number one. When the fire of knowledge falls on the mind, all practices are transformed into knowledge. Knowledge means what? Awareness, knowledge, and experience, and we remain a witness all the time. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand, your mind on the left hand. Lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms and know your experiences. Bring the hands down.